So the question was asked about pivot tables and pivot charts, and I wanted to spend just a couple seconds talking about this. In our class, we don't necessarily spend a lot of time working with these. However, generally speaking, these are a very powerful tool. It is a very dynamic tool, unlike charts that you have been or will be creating in this class. When you're working with pivot tables or pivot charts, they're very dynamic. So the first thing I want to point out is when you are creating a pivot environment, there are two requirements. One, you need at least one column or you need at least some data that will be duplicate. So it needs to repeat. So here I have the different regions, and you can see that I have east in there a couple times and south and west. The other requirement of a pivot in a pivot environment will be something that needs to be total. So you need numbers that your pivot can use to total. So this is a very basic worksheet. I have entered this data. Now I'm just going to go to Insert, and here in the corner I can insert a pivot table just by clicking. It's going to ask if this is the range, and unless there's some special reason, typically you do want it to use all of your data. Here I can determine if I want it to go to a new worksheet or do I want it to go somewhere that it is already existing. I'm just going to let it go to a new worksheet, and then I'll click OK. So once I'm here, you will see I now have pivot table tools at the top, and over here I have a pivot table pane. So what you need to do, and this is kind of blank, so I need to build the table that I'm looking to create. So I can take fields that appear here, and I can drag them to where I want them to be. And as I drag them, you can see that it is changing how my table appears. And I can move things around, and then I can also drag them off if I decide I don't want them. Maybe I want to put this here. So that is one of the main benefits of using the pivot, is that you can move data around, and each time that you move data around, it gives your data a different appearance. The other thing you can create is a pivot chart, and it will work the same way. That I can build the chart as I go, and it will allow me to change how the data looks very quickly, rather than entering new numbers and selecting it and then building the chart, or just in a general table as you worked with previously. You create it and format it. A pivot allows you to basically pivot, to kind of turn on a dime and to make different choices to change how your data is going to look. You can also insert a slicer. I think we talked, I remember there being a question about slicers earlier in the discussion board. This is a slicer. So what you do when you work with a slicer, it will adjust how your data, it opens up these little boxes. And what you can use these for is to sort out data. Then I can remove, so it's just like a live filter that allows you to alter the way the data will look as you are working in a very live fashion. I hope this helps. It was a very basic presentation, but that is one of the benefits of using a pivot.